It was another project escalation meeting, the kind where the tension is palpable and the conversation starts with, "The customer is unhappy." Not an unfamiliar situation, but certainly one I've sat through many times in my career. Running high stakes projects inevitably means that, despite all the hard work, the output is subject to perception. And perception is tricky. One person's success might be another person's disappointment. In any project with multiple stakeholders, there's always going to be at least one person who isn't happy. And when that happens, the reaction is immediate. The stakeholders jump in, eager to smooth things over, because a happy customer means future business. And here we are again, another round of trying to figure out what went wrong, how to fix it, and how to ensure everyone leaves satisfied. As I sat in that meeting, listening to the back and forth, my mind drifted back to a project I led years ago. A large, complex technical implementation for a challenging customer. So challenging, in fact, that no one else wanted to take on the account. It was known that this customer had high expectations, and the demands were, at times, unreasonable. But I was new to the company, eager to prove myself, and management had done a great job selling the opportunity. So, without knowing what I was walking into, I took it on. What happened next became a pattern. Every negotiation, every issue, every escalation, I found myself being the one to step forward and handle the customer directly. At first I thought, okay, I'm the project lead. This is my responsibility. But then I started to notice something. My boss, the leadership team, the account managers, they were all there, but they stayed comfortably in the background, supporting me from the shadows, and I was the one on the front lines. For 6 months, it was a grind, long days, intense negotiations, tough workshops, endless emails, difficult conversations, and constant problem solving. But we pushed through. The project got on track. The customer, despite their initial reservations, was pleased, and we were delivering well. It was a hard-fought success. And then came the moment of recognition. The big stage, the final review, the customer's endorsement of our work. And suddenly, all those shadow figures, leaders, account managers, senior executives, were front and center, speaking about how they had been part of this success. And me, the one who had taken every difficult conversation, stood in the fire, made the tough calls, I was still standing in the shadows. At the time, I shrugged it off. It doesn't matter who takes the credit, as long as the project is successful. That's what I told myself. But years later, when I left that company, someone pulled me aside and said, "This place could use more people with a spine like you." Because no matter how tough it got, you showed up. And that moment stuck with me. Fast forward to this week. Sitting in that escalation meeting, listening to the conversation unfold, I realized how much had remained the same. The instinct to panic when a customer is unhappy. The urge to overcompensate, to fix the perception, to immediately find ways to appease. And the same pattern, the people in the background staying just far enough away from the fire. But here's the thing. Leadership isn't just about solving problems. It's also about standing your ground, recognizing what's been done right, and having a mature conversation about expectations. Introverts, in particular, find this scenario challenging. We naturally focus on execution, on delivering results, rather than on making sure we're seen doing the work. And when escalations happen, we don't rush to defend ourselves. Instead, we reflect, process, and often hesitate to push back. But visibility isn't just about recognition. It's about ensuring that the reality of what's happening is acknowledged. So, how do we handle this better? First, be visible in the process, not just in the outcome. It's easy to get lost in the work, thinking results will speak for themselves. But the reality is, perception is built over time. Regular check-ins, updates, and proactive communication shape how you and your team are seen. Second, document everything. Feedback, milestones, decisions. Keep a record. Not only does this help in shaping the narrative, but it also gives you something concrete to refer to when addressing concerns. It ensures that when questions arise, you're prepared with facts, not just feelings. And finally, have the backbone to stand by what's right. When pushback comes, don't just react. Take a step back and assess. Is this feedback valid? Where did expectations diverge? What was done correctly? Instead of scrambling to make everyone happy, approach the conversation with clarity. It's not about dismissing concerns. It's about having a balanced, fact-driven dialogue. Too often, when a stakeholder expresses dissatisfaction, the immediate reaction is to assume failure. It's the same dynamic in organizations where, if a leader is upset, teams scramble to make amends. But mature leadership requires stepping away from that instinct and asking, what's really happening here? That's the difference between reactive and strategic leadership. For introverts, these moments can be particularly difficult. Our instinct is to work in the background, to focus on results over visibility, to avoid unnecessary conflict. But thriving in leadership means recognizing that being present, being vocal, and being willing to stand by your work isn't about ego. It's about ensuring the right conversations happen. So as I sat in that escalation meeting, I reminded myself of that lesson. This isn't about scrambling to appease. It's about standing in the moment, addressing concerns with clarity, and making sure that the reality of the work, both the wins and the lessons, are acknowledged. And that's the quiet strength of an introverted leader. We don't chase the spotlight, but when the moment comes, we step forward, not to claim credit, but to ensure that what's right is recognized. If this resonates with you, subscribe to the Introverted Leadership newsletter for more insights. And if you're navigating tough situations and need strategies in real time, meet Coach AV, your on-demand AI-powered companion designed to help introverted leaders like you navigate challenges with confidence. The first edition is out now, and it's available to everyone. Give it a try. I'd love to hear your feedback. Let's continue growing and leading together.